Hello, Bronx Middle School 5th grade math. Today we're going to be going over Unit 1 vocabulary. This video needs to be watched before entering Lesson 1, but then can also be watched throughout all the lessons to help you review and help you study. Let's begin. Attribute and properties have the same definition. They are characteristics to describe an object or entity. So an attribute of a triangle would be that it has 3 sides. An attribute of a square or properties of a square is that all 4 sides are equal, also known as congruent. Attributes and properties are used to describe and differentiate shapes. Parallel lines are lines that will never meet or intersect. They have the same slope, so they will never touch no matter how far they go. We can see parallel lines on railroad tracks or the blue lines in your notebook paper. Perpendicular lines are the opposite. They intersect and they form a right angle here. A right angle is 90 degrees and is labeled with the little square in the corner, which we'll get to next. A right angle has 90 degrees and is labeled with this little square. This little square lets us know that that angle is 90 degrees. A square has 4 90-degree angles, one in each corner. An obtuse angle is any angle that is bigger than a right angle. So if it is greater than 90 degrees, a right angle, it is obtuse. An acute angle is the opposite of an obtuse. It is less than 90 degrees. It's going to be teeny tiny. Congruent is the word we use in geometry when we want to say something is the same or equal to. So a square has 4 sides that are all congruent. When sides are congruent, we label them with these little dashes on each line. For example, a rectangle has 2 pairs of congruent lines. These lines are congruent to each other, and then these lines are congruent to each other. Notice how these have the same amount of dashes because they are equal to each other, and these only have 1 dash because they are equal to each other. A polygon is a plane, 2-dimensional shape with at least 3 straight sides. So here we have a triangle, a square, a pentagon, and a hexagon. These are all considered polygons because they have at least 3 straight sides. So a circle would not be a polygon because it does not have any straight sides. A triangle is one type of polygon and it has 3 edges, corners, and 3 sides. This triangle right here is considered an equilateral triangle because all sides are congruent, meaning all sides are the same length. An equilateral triangle. A scalene triangle is where all sides are different lengths. So this could be marked. Right, that's one length, that's another length, and that's another length. So all sides have different lengths. If we wanted to put numbers on it, it could be like, okay, that is 4 feet. That is, we'll say 7 feet. And then let's just say that's 12. So all these are different feet. Fix that up, make it nice and pretty. This triangle could also be considered a right triangle because it makes a 90-degree angle right here. So this triangle has 2 attributes. It is a scalene because all lengths are different, but then it's also a right triangle because it has a 90-degree angle in it. An isosceles triangle is where 2 sides are the same length. So here we can see by these marks, these two sides are the same length. These two sides are congruent. And again, a right triangle is any triangle with a 90-degree angle on the inside. Quadrilateral. These are polygons that are flat-shaped, two-dimensional, with four sides. There are several types of quadrilaterals. We have rectangles, rhombus, polygons, trapezoids, which we're all going to get into right now. A trapezoid is a quadrilateral with four sides, one pair of sides that are parallel. When lines are parallel, we mark them so that we know that they're parallel. These two lines are parallel, but these are not. These lines will eventually touch each other if they continued. So this is a four-sided shape with one pair of parallel sides. That makes it a trapezoid. Trapezoids can come in many different forms. So look for these attributes, the four sides and one pair of parallel lines. A parallelogram is a quadrilateral with four sides and two pairs of parallel lines. Oh, you can't see me writing that. I'll put it up here. With two pairs of parallel lines. So again, we need to mark them. These lines are parallel to each other, and these lines are parallel to each other. So if it has four sides, it's a quadrilateral, and if it has two pairs of parallel lines, it is a parallelogram. But remember, a trapezoid only needs to have at least one pair of parallel sides. So this is a trapezoid because it has four sides and it has at least one pair of parallel sides. A rectangle is a type of quadrilateral. So it's going to have four sides, but it also has two pairs of parallel lines. So these are parallel, and these are parallel to each other. So it's four sides, quadrilateral, two pairs of parallel lines, and also four right angles. In a rectangle, these are not only parallel to each other, but they are congruent. So we are going to label it to make sure we know that it is congruent. And these lines are also congruent to each other. So a rectangle has four right angles, two pairs of parallel lines, two pairs of congruent sides, and four sides in total. 1, 2, 3, 4. A kite is a two-dimensional, four-sided quadrilateral. So if it has four sides, it's going to be a quadrilateral. It has two pairs of equal length, so congruent sides. These sides are going to be adjacent to each other. So these sets, this is a pair right here, and they are congruent to each other. These lines right here are also congruent to each other. This makes it a kite. There are no parallel lines, but each pair is congruent. A rhombus is a quadrilateral with four equal straight sides. It kind of looks like a diamond or a blown over square. All lengths are the same, so all lengths are congruent. they are all the same. So this side is going to be 6 feet. This side is going to be 6 feet, 6 feet, 6 feet. All of these lengths are the same. Congruent. A rhombus has two sets of parallel lines. So this line is parallel to that line, and this line is parallel to this one. So it's similar in a square as that all four sides are congruent and it has two pairs of parallel lines. But what's different about it? How is a rhombus different than a square? So both a rhombus and a square, they're both quadrilaterals. So they both have four sides. And all four sides are congruent. So all four sides are equal to each other. So this is the same length. All four sides are the same length. In a rhombus, all four sides are the same length. Well, a square has two sets of parallel lines. So these lines are going to be parallel to each other. They go in the same direction. And these lines are parallel to each other. They go in the same direction. Well, the same with the rhombus, two pairs of parallel lines. These are parallel, and these are parallel. Well, what's different? A square has four right angles. A rhombus will never have a right angle because if it did, then all four would be right angle and it would be a square. The angles for a rhombus could be, see this right here, it's smaller than a right angle. So what did we say that was? Acute. Because this angle is smaller than a right angle, 90 degrees, which can be seen in a square, it's acute. Now this angle right here, it's bigger than 90 degrees, which is in a square. So it is obtuse. All caps because it's fat. So degrees that would be obtuse would be, for example, this rhombus could have 112 degrees at this angle, and then this acute angle could be 68 degrees. See, this one's less than 90, and this one is bigger than 90. Let's quickly review the overall categories. A polygon is any shape with at least three or more sides. So it can be a triangle, it can be a square, it can be, it can be a pentagon, it could be a hexagon, octagon, anything, as long as it has at least three sides. As long as a shape has at least three sides, it is considered a polygon. Let's get more specific now. If a shape has three sides, it is a triangle. Now, it is still a polygon because it still has at least three. Because it still has at least three, it is a polygon and a triangle. But a triangle has strictly only three sides. A quadrilateral is any shape that has exactly four sides. So it can be a square, a rectangle, a kite. As long as it has four sides, it is a quadrilateral, but it is also a polygon. Now we're going to get even more specific. As we said, a quadrilateral is any shape that has exactly four sides. A trapezoid is a quadrilateral that has at least one pair of parallel sides. So trapezoid has at least one pair of parallel lines, while a parallelogram has two pairs of parallel lines. So at least one for a trapezoid and two pairs of parallel lines for a parallelogram. but these are both considered quadrilaterals.